mine of untapped potential and recurring challenges, recently the federal government and France signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on joint projects aimed at diversifying the value chain in this critical industry. With over 2,000 abandoned mining pits across the country and tragic reports of recent mining pit collapses claiming lives, this partnership promises research, training, and solutions. But while this may sound promising, it raises some important questions. Are we truly building a mutually beneficial relationship with France, or are we at risk of losing control over our natural resources? What does this really mean for local communities affected by mining, and will it really tackle the pressing issues of safety and sustainability? Before we go into this, we would like to talk about the strike that has commenced in some states. Talking about the 14 states that are affected by the non-implementation of the minimum wage, directed by the national NLC, that the state councils that are affected by the non-implementation of the minimum wage should go on strike starting today. So we're going to have this conversation with our guest that has joined us in the studio right now, a seasoned public affairs analyst who will help us unpack these issues. Welcome, Donald Enquiry. Good morning.
Good morning, Sharon Mando, our queen of the airwaves. Good morning, Oselo himself.
Good morning.
I would just like to say that a day like this reminds me that God is faithful.
Because I was going to, before you even say it, let me be the first. Welcome, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's why I wanted to be the first to say it.
Today is my birthday, and I'm very, very grateful to God for
congratulations.
For His faithfulness all these years and keeping me alive, making me stronger day in, day out. And I thank God for all the good things that has come my way. And I thank so many of my friends who have called me, sent me text messages, and
What does this mean? The failure of 14 states to actually implement the minimum wage or comply with the 70,000 naira minimum wage say about the political will of state governors or state government to prioritize workers' welfare?
I think it goes beyond. You see, I've said it here. I think last Monday I made a statement here about the type of government we have in Nigeria. The type of government we have in Nigeria is called a plutocracy. And a plutocracy is a kind of government where the policies and programs of government are made to favor the top 1% of the society. And the top 1% are the rich and the powerful, the cream de la cream of any society. So those policies are always made to favor them. And that is why you see a policy like this would come, and after a lot of pressure from labor, harassment from the government, and the government finally agreed. After a long while, months of negotiation, something we knew, a date was always there, that by April of 2024, the previous agreement of 35,000 naira minimum wage will expire. And as of last year, when Mr. President came into power, we saw the labor had placed these things on his table. It was part of the negotiation among many other things, and we expected that the president should, if he's truly interested in the interests of the common Nigerian, taking steps to make sure that that negotiation was on board, and that by April this year, by the end of April this year, we should have had an agreement on ground, duly signed by all the parties involved. But that didn't happen. It took months, it took a demonstration, it took protest of so many kinds by labor to get the government to even come to the table. There were times that the presidency will not even, labor will go there and wait. Nobody, no senior official of this government at the center will appear. And at the end of the day, they will send a junior officer, maybe an office clerk or something, to come and negotiate. And labor will, out of anger, walk out of that negotiation. At the end of the day, we saw what happened. Nothing really. After so many battering and struggling, we came up to 70,000, and up to today, I think the agreement was in July. I think it should be July or so, July of this year or something like that. And up till this moment, the year is about to end. Nobody has told us when. And in the same manner, you look at the state governments who are, how would I say, they are just following the queue set by the government at the center, and many of them have negotiated with labor. Many came out to say this is what we are going to pay, but in the manner of things, you know, normally you're supposed to sit down with labor, agree on certain terms, and then sign an agreement with them. None of that has happened. I don't know any state where that has happened. I've only heard of Sokoto State where they said one of the reasons they said they are not joining the strike is that the governor has set a timeline that ending of next month, which is January, when the new appropriation bill will take effect, and that is when they are going to start paying. There's an agreement, and the negotiation will end by Wednesday this week. That is about Sokoto State, but in many other the 14 states, nothing like that has happened. But this is not to say that states have not tried. We've seen a state like Rivers State that has actually commenced payment. We had a thing of Osun State, Enugu State, the ones I can know, Lagos State. They have started paying, and they didn't wait. They have started paying ahead. No, the amount of money they are paying is higher than they agreed 70,000, and they have started before even the federal government has. You know, so states have done that, and some other states have not done it. Even in Akwa Ibom State here, we heard what the governor have said is that he's going to pay 80,000. Beautiful, but there's no agreement. There's no sit down.
But today, as soon as possible, you know, they are going to implement the new minimum wage. And I want to also to mention this because I actually promised the caller during today's papers when we were talking about minimum wage, and he called in that right after the speech from the governor talking about the minimum wage, saying that, you know, striking is not the solution. Right, we're going to implement it at salary. So he has these workers at heart, and the caller said, okay, so what will be the next move